Welcome to our last Advantage Market Update for the year. Well, it's been a really busy end to the year and there's been a lot of Super Saturdays with over 1,500 auctions every weekend. And Melbourne's clearance rate has held up. It's generally been averaging in the mid-60s to around 70%. And for the year, it's probably averaged around the 72-73% mark. So it's stayed very consistent and hasn't crashed like the Sydney clearance rates, which have dropped to around 50-55%. We've still seen some record results across the board, and developers were out in force in South Yarra recently, a site in Darling Street, where they paid over $1 million above the reserve price, a whopping $5,970,000 for an 890 square metre site. So we're still seeing some record results. Interest rate talk is always on the agenda, and it was again recently with the unemployment figures and employment figures showing that they were a lot stronger than expected, the employment data. So there's talk now that the interest rates won't be cut until the second half of next year. ANZ is still predicting 2 rate cuts in the second half of the year, but they've pushed back their prediction for one in February and going a little bit later. Vendors are now joining forces and getting some great results, and in Melbourne recently, a number of vendors grouped their properties together and sold collectively to a developer, and it sold for over $500,000 more than what they would have got individually. And this is a smart tactic that has been used by a lot of vendors this year to get much better results. So buying real estate and doing well is all about making the right choices. In 1975, you could have bought a house in Melton for about $30,000, and you could have bought for the same money Middle Park. Now that Melton house is worth around $230,000 and the Middle Park house is worth about $2.4 million. So there's been a lot of those choices made by buyers in those days, and they've chosen to buy in certain areas that have not had much growth versus other areas in the inner city typically that have had some phenomenal growth over that period of time. It's important to watch when you're buying off the plan, and we see a lot of people overpay unfortunately and get hooked up with paying developers prices and profit margins. And such is the case. There's a property in Rosanna recently sold for $282,000, and unfortunately this property was bought off the plan for $420,000 in 2010. So really terrible result. Just got to be careful when you're buying off the plan. Make sure that you have a fantastic festive season. We look forward to speaking to you again in 2016, and thank you for your support. Please don't hesitate to get on our website and check out our Buyers Advocate, Vendors Advocate, Property Management and Owners Corporation services.